vehemently as the people of the Republic of Uganda. After all, it is us who send those parliamentarians who are now working in the interest of Museveni into that parliament. The people of Africa, Museveni kills our leaders, and Museveni reached an extent of confiscating the corpses of our leaders, the bodies of our leaders. He compromised men of nobility in our midst. These very men of nobility, they have become controversial in their thinking capacity. They have determined to derail the minds of the people they are supposed to be leading, namely Matthias Mpuga and his entire led DP bloc organization. Men of nobility, an organization in our midst, brothers and sisters, these very men of nobility, they have become controversial in their thinking capacity. Of their lustiness to power. They have determined to derail the minds of all of the people they are supposed to be leading, namely Matthias Mpuga and his entire led DP bloc into organization. Men of nobility, organization in our midst. Brothers and sisters, these men of nobility, they have become controversial in their thinking capacity. Their lustiness to power. They have determined to derail
is enduring
the minds of all of the people they are supposed to be leading. Namely,
brothers and sisters, meted upon us by Mr. Museveni, a former refugee from Rwanda, a man who was embraced by our parents, a man who was embraced by our grandparents, a man who was fed by our mothers, a man who was educated by the organization, by the cultural institutions and the spiritual institution of Uganda. Now, Mr. Museveni, when he reached into power, he turned against all these institutions that rendered a helping hand to attain all the knowledge he has, to rise to the position in which he clinged upon after Ugandans had chased him away. The people of Africa, it should be borne in your mind that whereas Museveni tried to portray a picture of being a just leader, that is not who he is. Museveni, he is not a man you think he is. Museveni has no respect to the rule of law whatsoever. Mr. Museveni continues to embrace anything that undermines the rule of law. Before you have been watching. You have been watching the things the way Museveni does it in the parliament of the Republic of Uganda. The people of Africa, Ugandans are determined. Ugandans are determined. Brothers and sisters, this is the day we are renewing our oath to take Museveni out of power. Being a Catholic Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ, today in our Mass, we have renewed our vows to reject Satan and all his deeds. Oh, before you, people of Africa, I will use the same opportunity to renew my vows in this our continued struggle to free ourselves from the bondage of dictator Museveni. I, myself, Bob the Mechanic, I resolve, no autocrat, no despot shall coerce my liberty. No dominant ruler shall claim my freedom. No vile wielder of a bloody weapon shall break my godlike will. For I and I, Bob the Mechanic, detest and vehemently reject Museveni and all his tendencies. I and I, Bob the Mechanic, reject and vehemently detest Museveni's sycophants. I and I, Bob the Mechanic, on this very Sunday of renewal of our baptism, I am resolved to confront and battle anybody who ingratiates himself to Museveni verbally for now. I and I, Bob the Mechanic, before the people of Africa and most importantly, my fellow Ugandans, I am determined
I am determined to confront anybody who drives Museveni's aspirations, Museveni's evil agenda, Museveni's evil ideology of divide and rule.
I and I, Bob the mechanic, before the people of Africa, and most importantly, my fellow Ugandans.
Societies. Trenches
I am
which
determined.
are murderous.
I am determined
which you have covered
to confront
and
anybody who drives Museveni's aspirations, Museveni's evil agenda, Museveni's evil ideology of divide and rule. I and I, Bob the mechanic, before the people of Africa, and most importantly, my fellow Ugandans. I am determined
which you have covered
to confront anybody who drives Museveni's aspiration
to be experienced leaders. We cannot accept their utterances by utilizing and deploying the methods His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu laid in the beginning, that we should not trust leaders by their mere words, but rather by their deeds. Thus, we have come to a realization, those who have been working for Museveni in a covetous sense within our organization, that is National Unity Platform. The people of Africa, this is the era of us all to emancipate ourselves from the bondage of dictatorialism. Let us do away with dictatorialism on the continent of Africa. Dictatorialism, it is that ideology that deters the progress of Ugandans, the progress of Africans as a whole. It is dictatorialism that embraces nepotism while appointing servants of the government or civil servants. Nepotism cannot allow competent people to be appointed in key positions because they are independent in mind, and they cannot be pushed to take a decision which is detrimental to the future of their grandchildren. These and many more, Museveni is against, and he does whatever it takes to poison them, to kill them, or to compromise their integrity by maligning them, by concocting all sorts of fabrication to make them look bad in the general public. Brothers and sisters, the people of Masaka right now are experiencing something so evil being done by elderly people who are prominent in the society, people who ingratiate themselves to religious leaders, people who are given front row seats when they go into churches. These are the same very people who have revealed their true colors, that they don't have any, tenets of religious in their being. The only reason that they go to church, it is to maintain the popularity within the general public, but not to serve the general public. Fellow Africans, dictatorial tendencies are contagious. Brothers and sisters, what's happening in Uganda, and you happen to turn a blind eye while occupying a position whereby your voice can be heard in the continued struggle of the people of Uganda, you are making a huge mistake, because the contagiousness of these dictatorial tendencies are more likely to cross the border and infiltrate your leadership. Brothers and sisters, let us corner dictatorialism. There are just a few of them remaining on the continent of Africa, mostly in East Africa. Our brothers of conscious minds in West Africa send a message to African Union that why are you not doing anything when the people of Uganda are complaining for the past 5 years? We need concrete measures. We need concrete measures, and they should be propagated on the public domain, because we are digital warriors, and our effort to show the world that Museveni is evil, it is in the broad daylight. Thus, our struggle, it is well televised. People of the world, Uganda, it is in desperate need of your cameras to be aimed at Kampala. Brothers and sisters, fellow Africans, the notorious M23, a militia group that has been tormenting the people of DRC. It is now in Uganda. Leave alone the lies of Mr. Kagame that M23 started in Uganda. He is trying to deny the responsibility he created himself. Because philosophy says you have the right to deny responsibility, but you cannot deny the repercussions. Mr. Paulo Kagame came out and stated that he has nothing to do with M23 whatsoever. For us, the people of East Africa, we know Mr. Kagame, that is a lie. My brother Kagame, Paulo. Mr. Kagame, Paulo, that is a lie. Mr. Kagame, Paulo, you well know how you have mistreated us. Mr. Kagame, Paulo, you yourself, you have miles of land in Ruwero. That is Sabasajja Kabaka's county. Esazale Sabasajja Eriebulemezi. Mr. Kagame, you have land there. Mr. Kagame, it came to the broad daylight, or to the light, that the way you acquired that land, you killed all the people who owned that land, while you were saying that you are fighting in Uganda, a country that just gave you refugeeship. You murdered the people of Buganda Kingdom. Mr. Kagame, Mr. Museveni, Mr. Jim Muhwezi, Mr. Kaindo Tafire, General Mugisha Muntu, Mr. Mugisha Muntu, Mr. Tumukunde, Mr. Tinyefunza, you murdered the Ugandans. You refugees, you murdered the Ugandans. Now, Mr. Kagame, you are denying a group you created yourself. You created yourself with Mr. Museveni. You are denying a group that is responsible for spilling innocent blood in Congo. My brother Kagame, you can see a dead end in all that you've been striving for. Mr. Kagame, where is the dignity going to be for you? Oh, Mr. Kagame, we know the people of Rwanda are happy because Rwanda has been developed infrastructure-wise, technologically, and economically on the expense of Uganda's taxpayers' money. And the illegal extraction of the minerals out of the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is on a public domain. Museveni made the people of the Republic of Uganda to pay reparation claimed by the state of DRC because of your plundering of their country. When National Unity Platform came out and informed the Ugandans that each and every child of any given Ugandan, he owes the international community 3 million shillings. Even unborn children. And that very money, Museveni keeps on borrowing. Museveni keeps on plundering. Museveni keeps on doing all sorts of things, does not develop Uganda. Global citizens, fellow Africans, the reason why we always complain against parliamentarians, it is them who empowers Museveni. To violate all human rights. Any member of parliament is capable of reading and writing, right? The Constitution shows each and everything. So we are holding these parliamentarians accountable for all the things Museveni are doing, because they accomplish each and everything for him. They give money to Museveni in the sense of, they just give it to him as if it is constitutional. You understand? So we are complaining about you, against you parliamentarians. You are quiet. Your colleague, Mathias Mpuuga, your senior citizen, Mathias Mpuuga, is causing chaos in the burial ceremony of Honorable Muhammad Segirinya right now as we speak. Mathias Mpuuga is using taxpayers' money by means of Museveni to deploy militants dressed in Uganda's uniforms. The M23, according to the credible information from ASP Asime and Lumbuye Broadcasting Service, indicate that most of those militants you see in the burial ceremony right now, those are not Ugandan men in uniform. No, those are M23. Those are M23 who are ready to massacre Ugandans. Those are M23 who are ready to massacre Ugandans, global citizens, fellow Africans. Let us call Museveni to order. We are appealing on to African Union to commission an investigative team to look into our claims that M23 is in Uganda and they are going to massacre people, because Museveni cannot stand any chance, whether through a ballot box, whether we decide to demonstrate, whether we start to riot. Museveni, the only thing you're going to do is to kill more people. But what started? What started in 2017, Mr. Museveni, it is irreversible. Mr. Museveni, it is irreversible. What we are yearning for, it is just leadership. We are not yearning for amassing, abnormal wealth. What we want, it is the restoration of the law. It is the independence of the judiciary. It is the independence of the legislature. And we want a very, very legitimized executive by the people of Uganda through a ballot box. Mr. Museveni, M23 will not intimidate us. After all, you are killing us. After all, you are killing our brothers and sisters on a daily basis. So you think by bringing M23, we shall be cowed? We shall be intimidated? Mr. Museveni, do not lie yourself. Do not lie yourself. My brothers and sisters, we are no longer held in the bondage of dictatorialism by the voice of fear. Our hearts really cries out for freedom. We feel something stirring within our being. Something is asking us, that inner urge. Why are we being ruled over as opposed to be led by these individuals? That inner urge that impels us to read more the Constitution so that we can get a proper ground to fight a justifiable war, as we are fighting, brothers and sisters. We took to the polls and the battle was won. But the war, it is still ongoing. This is the 5th year battling Museveni. Verbally, mind you, global citizens, in all the awakened Ugandans, the change-loving Ugandans, nobody has ever squeezed a gun and dropped Museveni's workers. No, nobody, because we own no weapons and we are not interested in them. So far, for now, we are not interested in them. Mr. Museveni, that should be born in your mind. We are not interested in them because His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the legitimately elected president of Uganda, assured the Ugandans that we cannot be slaves without our consent. And he told us that Mr. Museveni cannot exhaust the possibilities of bringing about change. The more we battle you,
the more hard-headed we become, Mr. Museveni, and the more discernful we become, the more well illuminated we become when it comes to matters of leadership. Mr. Museveni, do you expect to reverse that? Do you think we become fearful or we become more resilient? Mr. Museveni, we become more resilient, not fearful, not fearful. Fellow Ugandans, this is the time to free ourselves. His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu emphasized it on one occasion that this is the year that determines the outcome of 2026. Let us continue push Museveni up until he is out of office. If he reaches 26, then the ballot box will determine. But what we do right now, it will determine whether our votes will be reached on that day or not. The pressure we exert right now determines what will happen in 2026. How comes that we allow Museveni to deny us even the right to bury our loved ones? How comes that we allow Museveni to change our cultural understanding, our norms, values, our names, values, men of nobility, and you allow Museveni to propose that it is the state to determine those who are going to get married? They should write to the space, to the state, whether they agree with each other. The state is enforcing their understanding on our cultural institutions that so and so should not be respected in terms of kwanjula or introduction. And the people of nobility are giving in to that nonsensical. The people of nobility are giving in to that nonsensical. Now, he has reached an extent to abolish police bond and court bail. Learned people are quiet. Is that a just compliance? Is that what they mean, that respect the law? Is that a law? Is that a law, global citizens? Is that a law? Is that a law? Why do we allow Museveni to break all our laws and we conform to his dictates? Because the law states that any accused person, he or she presumed innocent up until he or she pleads guilty or proven guilty by the courts of law. You understand? Now, in Museveni's case, you are convicted even prior to your arrest. In Uganda, there is no such a thing of arrest. No. There is abduction. There is no arrest in Uganda because any civil servant or a police service person, when he comes to apprehend somebody, that people introduce themselves. They are well tagged. They have name tags. And they do have badges. In Uganda, there is no such a thing. The only thing you see, it is the AK-47. It is the AK-47, whether they in civilian plain clothing or in a uniform. You can imagine, in one police force, it has got almost 15 departments. Each department has got a uniform similar to a camouflage that is supposed to serve in the jungle. You understand? Why are you concealing? You try to create fear in the society. In each and every corner on the streets of Kampala, there is a militant standing there with the AK-47, ready to blast at the people they are supposed to protect. Okay? The people they are supposed to protect. Men of nobility tell us that they are there administering godly justice. Godly justice. You people on your altar, we have renewed our vows towards Christ. Okay? The Christ power that sustains our being impels us to reject
your hypocrisy. You men in cap and gown. I'm talking to Ugandan spiritual leaders specifically. Nobody else. My words are aimed at Uganda Religious Council, Inter-Religious Council. It was created by Museveni, mind you, but the name itself, it is substantiated. But what are those people who are supposed to bring the substance into the minds of the congregants? Are they faithful? Are they walking with faith? Or they are accustomed to walk with sight? The latter is true. They walk with the sight of cash. They walk with the sight of cash. They don't walk with faith. We are being led by just leaders, young men in age, but grown in brain. So futuristic in their mental vibration. They are willing to legislate policies which are generational, policies which will cater for the coming generation of Uganda. Mr. Museveni feels threatened by those ideologies because he is so illegitimate. Even the war he claims to have fought, it was uncalled for, meaning that when we topple his regime, a commission of tribunal should be initiated, and we will inquire what was their purpose of calling for a war, of starting the war, because the courts of law were there, okay? The courts of law were there. And besides, this was a refugee, okay? Museveni was a refugee. The constitution did not permit him that privilege as a refugee. As a refugee, that is the first crime he did against humanity, massacring innocent Ugandans under the guise of fighting for freedom. Which freedom were you fighting for, Mr. Museveni? If you fought for freedom, we wouldn't be here on the internet shouting before Africans, informing them how wicked you are. If you fought for freedom, as you claim, you never fought for freedom. You fought for your egoistic needs. You are being tormented by greed and unfathomable rapaciousness. Mr. Museveni, we are telling you that none of all your accumulated abnormal wealth, none of all your armories, none of all your lethal poison, it is going to deter, it is going to divert or to intimidate a generation which is yearning for just leadership. This is the generation led by His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, whom you are trying so very much to assassinate. Mr. Museveni, as we speak right now, ASP Asimi Baiban Politics informed the people of Uganda and the people of Africa that you commissioned one of your henchmen by the names of Frank Bwino. Frank Bwino, you gave him lethal poison, and that while the mourners are praying for their departed brother, you will get all means necessary to pour that lethal poison into the shoes of His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Information further indicates that very lethal poison you brought, you procured it from Myanmar or Burma. You brought it, or you bought it, or you ordered it from Myanmar or Burma. Fellow Africans, this Myanmar, it is the country of which Museveni was externalizing people. Forcefully, they convinced them that we have procured jobs for you, only to find out that these young men, they were being recruited in the Burma, in those rebels who are fighting Myanmar government. Museveni is purportedly exporting labor, but these people, they don't know they are going to be recruited into militants. Now, this very country, Myanmar, provided Museveni a lethal poison to kill Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Today, in the burial ceremony in Masaka. Mr. Museveni, you can see there is nothing that you do behind closed door. Mr. Museveni, we told you that this is a different age. His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu told you that, Mr. President, you cannot stop my music. Mr. President, you cannot stop my aspiration. Mr. President, you cannot stop my love for the country. Whatever you do, you are not our age. You are not our age. You cannot stop what we are yearning for. And we are guided by the Holy Spirit. There is no form of intimidation can scare us to keep on. You kill one, 1,000 emerge. Museveni, that is evident before you. You have reached an extent to get mercenaries from Mr. Ruto in Kenya. Criminals out of prison to massacre people. Yet you claim to be a Pan-Africanist, Mr. Museveni? Does Pan-Africanism teach us that? Pan-Africanism? I doubt. It is not. Because we always in the lectures of Pan-Africanism. Namely, EFF, one-on-one Bible, one-on-one. We get lectures. Lecturer Landless is preaching to the Africans how to stand and speak the truth to power. That is the only way we are going to realize our aspirations as sons and daughters of Africa. You ingratiate to African Union, Mr. Museveni. Mr. Museveni, we received the information that you've been coercing. You've been coercing Elder Laila Odinga. Elder Laila Odinga. And you had a mission to finish him and relieve Ruto from that. Mr. Museveni, whatever you do, any digital code anything you say, Mpoma satellite is there. It was built by Idi Amin Dada. Mpoma satellite, it is there and he is serving ASP Asime. Museveni, he has thwarted all your evil plots, your plots against us. Mr. Museveni, there is nothing you're going to do. Mr. Museveni, all the M23 you brought in Uganda, they won't achieve anything. They will kill, but they will not solidify your fallen regime, your trembling regime. It is crumbling down. Mr. Museveni, that is irreversible, and it is known to all of us. Mr. Museveni, the last kicks of a dying horse, it is well felt. Mr. Museveni, you kick, you kill. Mr. Christopher Damulira, the director of CMI, that is a group that regulates all Museveni's henchmen, that regulates all Museveni's militias, that regulates all Museveni's militants. Mr. Christopher Damulira, our brother, everything comes to an end. Everything comes to an end. Everything comes to an end. There is always a rise and a fall. Everything rises and everything falls. Mr. Christopher Damulira, in the Hermetic principle, there is a principle, the fifth principle known as rhythm, which states that everything flows. Everything has tides. Everything has tides. Everything rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right, it is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Rhythm compensates. The measure of the swing to the right, it is equivalent to the swing to the left. Mind you, we are hopeful because that same fifth principle of truth states that all extremes meet. All extremes meet. and all paradoxes may be reconciled. Thus, we speak because we know there is a gleam of hope that you can denounce wickedness. That's what a Hermetic principle teaches us, that all paradoxes may be reconciled. Why am I saying it is a paradox? Because the rate of your madness and wickedness, it is beyond our comprehension. That is why I considered him to be a paradox. Because what is it that driving you guys to kill us to this extent? Rhythm compensate. Rhythm compensate, my brother Damulira. And to all you Museveni sycophant, rhythm compensate. The pendulum swing manifest in everything. In everything. In everything. In everything. Whether it is a stone or whether it is me. There is a pendulum swing. A Hermetic flow. Brothers and sisters, as I'm concluding, allow me to recite this one here. To you, all fighters, we are fighting. We are fighting. We are fighting, and we are not letting go of this. Through his schooling, he has learned to smile upon the great reaper when the hour of his emancipation strikes. When the hour of his emancipation from the physical embodiment strikes, his training has enabled him to raise his action to the level of conscious unification with his indwelling guide, the Christ power within his being. It is man's inner guide that cries out for freedom. Thus, this is the voice that speaks in the silence of man's soul with a courage that is born of conviction. This is the present that says, no autocrat, no despot shall coerce my liberty, no tyranny, no dominant ruler shall claim my freedom. No vile wielder of bloody weapon shall break my godlike will. These gifts are mine, to use with judgment and discretion for the greatest good of enslaved and deceived humanity. Again, and with like force, the real self, Ugandans sing their songs of freedom on the outer independence. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. In the new Uganda, olutalo, olutalo, ngaluwedde, tuliyambale ngule. Tuliyambale ngule, tuliyambale ngule, olutalo ngaluwedde, tuliyambale ngule, tulizimba mu Uganda empya. Again, realizing this, that all power is his to use, he summons every atom of activity to the fore. And with the newborn eloquence, registers its pledge of honor on the sensitive plate of universal permanence, on the sensitive plate of rational thinking, that is, matters of politics. Rational thinking, they say that they are logically sound. And logic, brothers and sisters, if you remember, logic means the laws that governs rational thinking. Give me one logical sounding politician, conventional politicians in Uganda, particularly DP Bloc and NRM. Give me one leader who can speak logically. Brothers and sisters, his first and foremost promise is, I will serve and do my best. And then the voice of invincible definiteness gives form to the inner guide's code of confidence. Thus, we are removing dictator Museveni. Opportunity is what we are looking for. The sparking joint that will spur the people of the Republic of Uganda to resist Museveni, not to stop them from burying or sending off their loved ones. And then the voice of invincible definiteness gives form to the inner guide's code of confidence. Thus, we are removing dictatorial Museveni, opportunity or pot of unity. I recognize the force that power of the will now dare capsizes. That the central eye of mind and brain fears neither fate, nor a chance, nor a fire, nor a rain. But it works and waits, secure upon its throne. With its steadfast calm, staffs the worthless drone. That limps and walk on straw. The blindest bully from Rwanda in the mighty land of Uganda, of wealth and opportunity grow. Filled from bottom, filled from base to brim. With the golden grain, Museveni creates with his wicked brain. When once awakened by the power and mind of wealth and mind, when once awakened by the mighty and power of soul, confined in the mind's creative tower, wherein dwells the spirit that controls and gives direction to all living soul. Oh, pot of unity, opportunity, I will solve the deeper problems my eyes convolve. In boldest attempt to twist my brain into a shapeless mass of thoughts, my heart of love, and cause my will to swerve from the chosen path that mankind must serve, to bring to light our one selected goal, removing Museveni, and cause our life to drift in the new Uganda until the spark of life is no more. To earn this passage, we have to endure all the despicable deeds. Time. We have to endure. We have to endure, my friend, my brothers and sisters, up until there is no man that will come and control us. No mortal accustomed to bribery should serve in any public place of Uganda anymore after Museveni. There is no corruptible individual who will serve again in any given public office after Museveni is gone. Brothers and sisters, the effort of Kyagulanyi Ssentamu throughout the years, he is telling us that we have to fight as a collective, such that nobody comes and say, you did not fight, I wielded guns and killed Museveni's people and I captured the power. Thus, you have to be under my feet. So, the moment we choose silence, we are likely to create another Museveni. People who will come and say, we fought. Thus, do not speak a word. We are not following constitution. The only way we can prevent that from happening, it is us to stand and start fighting Museveni. And start fighting Museveni. No mortal shame. The hands of justice stay. A kingdom that will be ruled by right and light, instead of carnal lust that fight to fright. In selfish hope, hidden a wizened brain. The righteous compliment that weak mind contains. Oh, pot of unity. Now, I resolve to live my life with my fellow Ugandans, so that we may absolve our inner selves from the thoughts that have been lamed, and never again refill our hearts with shame. The shame that is heaped on us through the ignorance of truth, upon the young men of Uganda, as well as on the heads and the foreheads of sinners old, who paid no heed to what their eye had told. Now they are feeling the pangs of bitter pain and stress of sin in their minds, because Museveni is taking all their sweat. Whatever they toiled for, Museveni is taking them, because of their choosing silence, because of fearing Museveni to kill them. Now he has come to take even their, whatever they earned, whatever they toiled for. If somebody can take your land away, what have you left with? Isn't that a pang of pain and stress of sin upon the sinners who paid no heed that Uganda needs them, that they have to speak truthfulness to power? Are they not feeling the pangs of bitter pain and stress of sin? Are you elderly people not feeling that stress? Are you not feeling that stress? Are you not feeling that stress? My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with us. Museveni, stop killing us. In conclusion, in this very same week, ASP Asime of Bible and Politics informed the people of the world that Museveni received a consignment, this time from India, containing mosquito nets. And these mosquito nets are contaminated with a pathogen or a virus known as monkeypox. Okay, monkeypox. And he is willing to supply these mosquito nets via the Ministry of Health. Via the Ministry of Health. They are willing to supply all these mosquito nets to innocent Ugandans who does not know anything. These all mosquito nets are contaminated. Why is Museveni doing this? Because he is fearful that he cannot make it to the elections. So he is planning to press Ugandans under lockdown. Like he utilized the COVID situation and reached the victory of ours. Fellow Ugandans, global citizens, you can hear the rate of wickedness Museveni is on right now to create viruses to massacre his own people. Learned people, how perceptible is that? Will that really leave you on the seat? Still fearful to die? Oh, fellow Ugandans, another information indicated that what prompted Museveni to command his men, Byabashaija, who is the prison commissioner, to say that Ugandans won't be allowed to visit their family members who are in incarceration. Those are the prisoners, okay? But the evil agenda behind that, it is that Museveni developed another pathogen and they spreaded it into prisoner. Okay? Now, they are testing that on prisoners. So they never wanted family members to go to prison because prisoners will tell them that there is something wrong on us. Now, Mr. Museveni manufactured masks, gas mask, office masks, gas masks. Okay? And it is going to be mandatory to everybody who goes into prison to visit their people to wear that mask. Okay? Now, if you are given a mask, you take that Marburg. It is called Marburg. That virus. You take it into your household. Thus, it spread around the entire society. Now, you can see how wicked Museveni is. Okay? And the social media is exposing this. But the sorry part of this, the saddest part of this, and the wickedest in all these learned people occupying positions of leadership is that they still trivialize the information being brought by ASP Asime and Kajubi Freddy Rumbuye. They still trivialize and they look at it as if it was propaganda. As if it was propaganda, putting the lives of the people they claim to be leading into danger. Okay? Because they say if we speak information which it is not well authenticated or whatever their things are, or rules of procedure or that nonsense, they say they will be held accountable. Who is going to hold you accountable when the Constitution, it has been abrogated? People. A man who says that nobody should get a police bond, nobody should get a court bail. Is there any law that is working? Is there any law that is working, given the fact that all ministerial positions, all people serving in Museveni's illegitimate regime, they are all incompetent. Now tell me, brothers and sisters, what are we complying on? What are we complying on? Are these laws? A man who is creating fellow Ugandans, learned people. Conventionalism really, it is the curse of modern philosophy. In what sense? Suppose a man says that do not trust leaders by their mere words. That is a modern philosophy, right? And then a conventional politician comes and say that do not listen to the information given to you by people on social media. Now, you, as a mind who compares the unfoldment of political event in Uganda, you start to put these two opinions on the scale. You know, there is an opinion of a conventional politician, and there is an opinion of a revolutionalist. That is His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and his entire led administration. South Asians leadership, Levi's Chugondo. My brothers and sisters, we are saying we are not going to be drilled by conventionalism. No. We were reared ethically. We are not lacking any good conduct in the society. But what we speak, and it sounds so vulgar to you, it is not a mistake. It is coincidental. It is coincidental, as Museveni can, in my understanding. Jesus meant to tell us that you can castigate and scold a young man who says that olinga amazi oba olinga amatako, and you fail to tell Museveni that why are you killing people, that why are you poisoning people, that why are you immunizing people forcefully, why are you sterilizing women, why are you murdering people, why are you poisoning, spiritual leaders, why are you poisoning cultural leaders? Isn't that a donkey? Can you swallow and conceal a murder? Can that be compared to one who is trying to swallow a donkey? Brothers and sisters, with all due respect, elders, the pangs of bitter pain and stress of sin, it is unescapable. Truly we say to you, we are no longer held in the bondage of dictatorialism by the voice of fear. Our hearts cry for freedom. They cry out for freedom. We feel something stirring within our being. We are no longer contented. We feel so sure of ourselves on matters of deeper importance for the well-being of our being, for the wellness of us Ugandans, complex as we are in nature. But there are those basic understanding that harmonizes the society. The Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Why do you allow Museveni to kill? Why do you allow Museveni to kill? And you don't say a thing. You don't say even a thing. You don't say a thing. Brother Semakade. You occupy a position. You occupy a position that is responsible for the harmoniousness of the society. That is Uganda Law Society. Uganda Law Society. Uganda Law Society. Samakadde. Museveni is taking bail away. You just write papers and post online. Samakadde. Conventionalism, my young brother, it is the curse of modern philosophy. My brother, we are not going to be cowed. After all, philosophy impels us in a political scopic, says that we must comprehend our natural, social, and national privileges. And the word privileges, it is accompanied with responsibility. Now, if I'm claiming my responsibility or my privileges as a Ugandan, okay, the privilege of a citizen by birth, the privilege of to be presumed innocent, the privilege of owning a property, and most importantly, the privilege to life. They are all seated. They are all seated. They are all seated. Men of nobility. Men of nobility. They prefer to deduct from the most pacifying aphorism. Be submissive to the current regime, and the one you want, it will find you healthy. My friend, elder people, those kind of aphorisms, they are not here in the Eastern Cape. The speaker here in the Eastern Cape, the speaker of the National Unity Platform Stroke People Power in the Eastern Cape, he is present here on my live. Oh, leadership, with all due respect, we have a sense that we are lagging. We are lagging in terms of demonstration. Oh, leadership, convey our humble request to the leadership in diaspora that let us re-amplify, let us reignite, let us demonstrate tirelessly. Given the plots that Museveni is orchestrating to mete upon the people of the Republic of Uganda, the only thing that we can render as diasporan, it is to demonstrate. It is to demonstrate. Elder Kauma, Jajaibu, oh Jajaibu, M23 is in Uganda, Jajaibu. M23 is in Uganda, Jajaibu. M23 is in Uganda, Jajaibu. The East African brothers and sisters, let me speak this one a little bit, though I'm not authorized to say this, because last weekend a meeting was convened by the Eastern Cape, NOOP chapter. And the Eastern Cape coordinator, my brother Mutiaba, he said that provincial coordinator, yes, he said that they do have a proposal, is that the South African chapters as a whole in the 9 provinces, they should organize a demonstration simultaneously. Eastern Cape is demonstrating, Western Cape is demonstrating, Northern Cape is demonstrating, Limpopo is demonstrating, and the like. So we are appealing on to you to initiate that program, because it will be very, very much grateful. We want Mr. Chintunyago, the representative of Museveni's aspirations in South Africa, to be summoned by these federal states respectively, you understand, to be asked that, Mr. Ambassador, why are your people complaining here? Mr. Ambassador, why are you working in the interest of Mr. Museveni as opposed to the interest of your fellow Ugandans? Mr. Ambassador, you know very well that Museveni is not a Ugandan, and all that you conceal for him, you know he does not leave any trace. He does not need any witness. My brother Kintunyago, elder, educated man, My brother Chintunyago, can you imagine? We live in South Africa where my rights as a refugee are well recognized. Mr. Kintunyago, my rights are well recognized. When the police come to apprehend me, they introduce themselves. A foreigner, a refugee here in South Africa. Nobody can slap me. Nobody can give me a boot in the guts. No. The court gives me a bail without a penny. Those are the things we want, my brother Chintunyago. My brother Chintunyago. My brother, those are the things we want to be reinstated in Uganda, and it is attainable. You don't tell us that we need mathematician to tell us that is attainable. No, it is. Give them the fact and the length of the struggle we have traveled. Indeed, when you look how far we've come and where we are, till I set you, the burden we have to overcome, it is heavier. But where we're coming from, you cannot negate that efforts. Meaning that, however sluggish the struggle may look to you, or you may weigh it, it is not on a standstill. I am a man who enjoys Johnny Walker whiskey. And when you look at that slogan there, it says that do not be afraid of moving slowly, but only be afraid on standstill. We are not on standstill. We have shaken Museveni's brutal regime, the regime which he had entrenched so deep into our political institutions. Right now, it is jittery. My brothers and sisters, it is jittery. It is jittery. Its foundations have been rendered jittery by our outspoken and our resilience. Obama, in his book, he stated that the uncertainties of political event and the necessity for resilience. Where are the uncertainties? Did you ever expect Matthias Mpuga to act the way he is? Have you ever expect? Did you ever expect Medadi Rubega Sogona to be viced as we see right now? As we see right now, all the leaders we trusted, little did we know that we are all infested with Musevenism. A very, very venomous ideology which allows people to kill people so that they can attain their aspiration. Would you emulate that? Would you teach that to your child? My brother Chintunyago, you are enforcing us through Museveni's sycophants known as NRM cadres in South Africa that we should join what you term as UNA, and that if anybody is not through UNA cannot get any service on Uganda's mission in South Africa, a mission of which Museveni wants to sell, and it was never bought by him. And he always worked hand in hand to tarnish the names of Idi Amin Dada, a person who worked for all Uganda missions we see in this digitized era. My brother Kintunyago, history, it is there for us to deduct from. My brother Chintu, do you know the weight of that name, Chintu? Chintu. Chintu. Do you know the significance of your title? Elder. I don't know your name. Elder. Do you know the significance and the attributes that is embedded in that name or your brand? Elder Chintunyago. When you study European history, what do you see? When you study things fall apart, Kinyuwe Achebe, what do you see? When you study a lot of things, you people, you have studied. That is undeniable. You are not lacking knowledge. But what you are lacking is faithfulness and righteousness. The more I delve into philosophy, then you see that philosophy asserts that righteousness and rationality makes a man spiritual. Now tell me, if you are not spiritual, you will be able to comprehend spiritual understanding. The spiritual understanding, it is embedded in the 10 Commandments. If you can conceal Museveni's murderous deeds, tell me, how spiritual are you? How spiritual are you? Yet you go every Sunday to church and praise, and they give you a front row seat, and they even give you a microphone to speak. When you see Matthias Mpuga in Chitovu, Our Lady of Solo Cathedral, he is always given a chance to speak. In Chitovu, What Father Ngobia, Matthias Mpuga, he passes Father Ngobia, and they give him a microphone to speak lies in the house of God. In the house of God. Men of God, 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 why are you denying God? Why are you denying God? And you're praising Museveni? Praising Museveni? Because he has got guns? Because he has got guns? Heavenly Father, our hope is in you. 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 In closing, let me reread the prayer of Jubilee. Father in heaven, may the faith you have given us in your Son, Jesus Christ, our brother, and the flame of charity enkindled in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, reawaken in us the blessed hope for the coming of your kingdom. May your grace transform us into tireless cultivators of the seeds of the gospel in the sense of removing Museveni. May those seeds transform from within both humanity and the whole cosmos. In the sure expectation of a new Uganda, in the sure expectation of a new Uganda, of a new heaven and a new earth on which Uganda is, when with the powers of evil vanquished, when we do away with evil Museveni. Oh, Heavenly Father, graciously hear us. May the grace of the Jubilee reawaken in us. The pilgrims of hope are yearning for the treasures of heaven. May that same grace spread. May that same grace spread the joy and peace of our Redeemer throughout the earth. May the hope of a new Uganda be in us. Have no doubt, my brothers and sisters, the workings of our Heavenly Father, it is not like the workings of us. Do not lose hope. Just gear up. Tighten your belts. Roll your sleeves, my brother. I mean the sleeves of your heart. I mean the belts of your heart. The belts of your heart. The belts of your heart. My brothers, light up the candle. I mean the candle in your brain, in your neural system. Light him up. Light him up, because the torch of hope, it is well enkindled by godly ministers of society values. That is National Unity Platform, led by Kyagulanyi Ssentamu in its entirety. May the Lord be with us. May the Lord guide us. May the Lord, most importantly, impart the knowledge, the sense, and the understanding which recognizes no death.